can you see this person's perspective,
Right.
but can you see beyond this barrier that is in front of you right now? And we do get to that place of gratitude and actually appreciation. Now, it takes us refusing to stay in a victim mindset in order to do that.
It's Wednesday, which means launch date day. I'm Devon O'Day.
And I'm Teri Pugh.
And I love taking all the buzzwords of the psych community and you hear it. And I like to unpack them a little bit because people throw around slogans and it's great. I mean, I've sat in a lot of rooms and fellowships where there were a lot of slogans, and slogans can help save lives. They come to your mind, little platitudes.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you need to unpack them a little bit. And today we're going to unpack it's okay to not be okay. And I asked the question, but what if you want to be okay? What are some steps and what are some things for us to do? But let's just start first with the idiom, with the little phrase, it's okay to be okay. Where did that come from, and why do people throw that about, bandy that about?
Well, it's okay to be okay generally comes from people who feel like there's a sense of shame or guilt in being happy. It's okay to not be okay comes from people who also have the same guilt or shame for not being okay. And most of that stuff, like it or not, it's a family of origin modeling.
Mhm.
And that doesn't have to be in an abusive way or traumatic way. It can just be in an unconscious, neglectful way. Suck it up, you'll be fine. Well, if you're not fine, then there's shame that comes with, well, gosh, I should be fine, but I'm not. So something's wrong with me. No, it's not.
I love the fact that our okay can change. I don't have to be someone else's okay. I
Mm-hmm.
can be my okay. And sometimes my okay is not pretty and dressed up in a package. It is, I just got to say no. And if it makes everybody upset, then that's their problem and not mine. I've just got to be my own person and say, I can't do this.
Right. Well, and here's the thing, you can do it. You're just choosing self kindness and self love to not do it if it's something that someone's asking you to do and you don't want to do it. You're emotionally spent or taxed.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, here's our folks. They're all chiming in. Candy is here and
Hey,
Elizabeth
Candy.
is here. Steve Burney
Hey,
is here. And then, of course, our Tim. My
hello,
loving,
Tim.
gorgeous, amazing ladies and friends, love you all. I love it. And of course, the Miss Congeniality of our group, our greeter is Elizabeth.
That's right. You
You
get her a
know,
little sash that says Miss Congeniality.
it is a heart month. It is heart month. And so I've got my heart behind me. Rachel Keiss painted that for me. And I've got all of our, things like I'm strong and I'm hilarious and I'm this and I'm that, things to kind of lift our spirits. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about our version of okay and how to create our very own okay. When do we know that something feels right for us? What are some things physically? What do we feel like when we're okay?
That will depend on where you rank okay in great, fine, good, okay. Because if you rank I'm okay as the bottom of the rung, then it can feel a little heavy. If you rank I'm okay, then you're going to feel a little more inner peace and a little more contentment. A lot of times you're going to run into people who are not going to want you to be okay. So they're going to constantly tell you or imply without saying anything that perhaps you should not be okay, or how could you be, you have so much going on, or you have this or you have that. You might have a super busy schedule, but if you are not emotionally taxed by your schedule, then that's okay.
Yeah. I love it. Are you sure you're okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I thought I was okay. It's so funny. It's just so
Mm-hmm.
funny how somebody can couch a statement or a question and change the way we look at it. Bruce says, I focus on things that are in my control. I make plans to accomplish something and then go to work on that. So
Nice.
that's really good. And I love the idea. I focus on things that are in my control.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I need to be reminded of what is actually in my control.
Exactly.
That's the thing. That helps me with my okay meter. It's like, wait a minute, is this really in my control or am I trying to control something?
Right. Right. Because if you're trying to control, you will fast learn that you can't. And the more you try to control and the more frantic you get at that, the more things tend to fall apart. It's kind of like the saying goes, when you're trying to control holding the sand in your hand, you can grip it, but it's going to empty out
Yeah.
because you eventually get tired of that grip.
Yeah. Water, same way.
Mm-hmm.
Same way.
Yeah.
Candy's having a birthday this month. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
All
That's
month.
right.
Yeah, that's what we do. Uh, that's something else that we can't control is if we are getting older or not getting older. We can't control how many days we have. We really can't. We can do our best, but honestly, that's not out of our control. And so how we live our lives, and that's finding our joy. That's important. Elizabeth adds something, as she always does so well. Okay tends to be a word that when we hear it, we think it means I don't want to talk about it, as if something is wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And my clients, they know me well enough to know that when I say, "How are you today?" and they go, "Oh, I'm okay," or "I'm fine." If it's not believable, I will underscore the word always, follow up with, "Well, that doesn't sound very convincing." And they usually go, "Yeah, it feels obligatory. Like I need to say I'm okay or I'm fine. But really, I got some stuff going on." And you know what? It is perfectly natural and okay to have life unfolding. We don't have to have everything in place all the time. And on the days that we do, it's perfectly fine to be groovy and okay with that too. We just have to know we have to be responsible with our words and also be responsible with who we're sharing things with, because we can become addicted to those sort of slogans and use them
Yeah.
very matter of factly and very flat.
I know I have a tendency to use words because there are very few people that I just air everything out with. Very,
Mm-hmm.
and so I just go, it's like you do not want to open this bottle because if this genie ever gets out, it's not good. And so I have a tendency to go, I'm fine, all this, and then I defer, like I did before this show with you. At the moment, I
Mm-hmm.
just go, I don't want to go there right now. I got a show to do and blah, 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 blah. But and we all go, I mean, there are days, and I'll be quite honest with you, and Candy and I both share this, getting over a sickness and illness. And when you go, I'm just not all there yet. I'm just not all there yet. And that's when you kind of go, yeah, yeah, yeah. Last month was my birthday month, and I was sick for my birthday, and so I still don't feel like I got older.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I kind of missed it. Candy says I used to celebrate my birthday just one day. Now, as I'm older, I celebrate it all month long. That's my choice.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. Um, and she also says, "Oh, that's a good one, Terry. Using words that are flat."
Yeah.
Elizabeth, people I don't want to share with always get the I'm okay. Okay. And now mine was I didn't have time to share before the show because I'm back to back shows on Wednesday, so I was a little bit run under behind the eight ball. So we'll talk. We'll
We'll
talk.
talk about it later. We'll talk about everything later. And also, the difference there is I know that when someone is in a position where they're limited on time and they don't have the emotional or the energy or even the time frame capacity,
Uh-huh.
being responsible with that other person's energy is to go, okay. And you just let it go. You don't take it personal. You don't pry. You don't keep going, well, are you sure you don't want to talk about it? I mean, come on, Devon. I know we got 3 minutes before the show starts, but come on, let's unpack this real quick, right? We can just unpack the overnight case real quick. No, we don't do that because that's disrespectful to someone else's time. And what it also teaches them is to become a non-sharer with you, because if you're a pusher, then they're going to say, now's not really a good time, or you know what, blah, 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 and they drop it.
Yep.
And if you push, you make it incredibly uncomfortable for them to even want to share.
Exactly. Just being the presence is there. It's like, and you know me well enough that usually I'll spill my guts, but 3 minutes before showtime, I'm probably not going to do the whole thing. So, okay.
Sure. Well, and that's because we haven't talked in a while. And so it's like, how are you? And it's like, what's going on? Oh, Lord. It's kind of like, that's a big old thing to unpack. So let's just not right now.
Let's just wait on it.
Not right now.
Elizabeth says that you didn't get older. It's like the song lyric. How old would you be if you didn't know the date you were born?
Right.
I love that. So does Candy. Rhonda joins us. Prayer is very powerful. We need to live every day as if it's our last. Teri, it's okay not to be okay. We are all actors. Some of us just don't get paid for it.
Oh, girl, you're preaching to the choir here. I know fully it's okay not to be okay. I tell people all the time, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be perfect. Perfect is an illusion. It's okay to be exactly who you are in the moment that you are breathing that moment.
Right.
It is okay.
Right. Well, Tim says, I always am here when you're ready and need an ear and a shoulder. That's so nice. And he means that. Tim is definitely that way. Candy says, and sometimes I'm just not ready to share with anyone till I get to mull it around and think about it first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's being responsible with your thought. And also depending on, to Candy's point, also depending on who you're sharing with. Sometimes our space is very limited and we're going to share with someone who is just readily available. But we also might know that person is probably not the best person to share with. So having an opportunity to mull it over in our head allows us to get a grounding with it, so that when someone unintentionally tries to apply or imply, not apply, well, I guess they could try to apply, but imply that we might, should feel better if, then we have a little bit of a foundation there. And it's kind of like, but I really am okay with this, or
Right.
This is not okay. And you're honoring, there's some integrity in your word with that. So you're honoring that and standing by it and remaining open to hear what other people have to say, but also being clear whether or not you're looking for feedback or whether or not you're just sharing.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Joyce.
Hey,
We're glad to have
Joyce.
you with us. Rhonda says, I also celebrate every birthday. I'm blessed. Yes. Lisa Franklin. Hi, kids.
Hey, Lisa.
Welcome. We are glad that you guys are part of it. It's the time of the part of the show where you say, make sure that if you would like this, that you share it on your pages, that you subscribe wherever you're watching this to Transcending Turbulence, or on my page, or Play Jane Wisdom, which we air it there, and on YouTube, and click the bell because it tells us whenever we go live. Whenever you are, it's just part of me.
Well, I know, but that song, You Can Ring My Bell, just came in and I just transferred everything over to You Can Click the Bell. And I was like, all of a sudden I was in my head on a journey.
That's a good journey to be on.
It is.
It is a good journey. I've decided that part of the ways that I start to feel okay, now we're going to live in the solution. Part of the things that makes me feel okay is I make sure that I take time to nourish myself
Mm-hmm.
with food and entertainment. Okay. If it's a day that I need extra help, I don't entertain. Kenny says you're in your own zone, Teri.
I know. I know. I know. I stretch those walls all the time, but I love it.
Oh, that is. Well, I'll go through, like, let's say we're going to look at Netflix and we go through the thing, and just because I commit to something, even for 10 minutes, if I don't feel good after turning on that, whatever it is, I move to another one and I go, no, I don't want to see that. That's not what I'm not feeling that right now. And sometimes I just need a steady diet of Hallmark movies. Sometimes I need just something, a rom-com to make me laugh. Sometimes I go to Dry Bar Comedy on YouTube and listen to comedians, clean comedians kind of do their show. And I uh, I think that you find your thing that nourishes you in food and entertainment. That's one for me. What about you, Teri?
Nature.
Um,
Hands down, nature. I will take my shoes off. As a matter of fact, it's raining here in Nashville today. And as gross it is for some people, I fully intend after this session or after this podcast, before my session, I'm taking my shoes off and I'm going to go walk in the yard. And they're going to be gross and muddy and grassy and wet. And I'm going to love every second of it because there's something for me about connecting, being in the rain, being in nature, on a sunny day, on a windy day, on a rainy day. And nature's everywhere. We can live in a concrete jungle, but you can find a patch of grass somewhere to be in and listen to the birds and connect. So I love doing that. And I also, I like music. So I'll put on Pandora or I'll put on whatever I've got on my phone, and it has to be music that I like. I have a wide range of music I can listen to, but when I'm nourishing myself, it has to be something that I like, and that changes all the time. It might be,
yes.
it might be, it might be whoever, Dean Martin 1 minute, and it might be DMX the next. So, I mean, my palette is pretty wide, and it's just whatever nourishes us, because we're always satiated by something just a little different depending on where we are.
Joyce says, I love the comedy stuff. Good to laugh. Yeah.
Yes.
Elizabeth, but seriously, I need me some nature. My Smoky Mountains always fill up my soul.
There you go.
A little day trip, go to Mont Eagle. It's the closest one that we can get to here. But Tim says connecting to earth and Mother Nature helps me stay grounded. Yes. Candy says she stays off the news.
Yeah, I don't know when the last time I watched the news was. And I haven't been on social media in several days just because I'm just kind of tired of it. We have to know what our charging stations are. I know we've talked about this before, but
know your charging stations. You guys write that down.
Yes, you got to know what you can plug into that fills you up. And you also have to think of yourself like a phone. If your phone is in the yellow zone, then you need to unplug for a longer period of time to charge up. If you're halfway down your green battery, you might get away with being able to take a quick charge here or there. But if you plug yourself into nature or comedy or music or cooking or whatever it is that you charge yourself with and nourish yourself with and feed your soul with, then you have to stay in that longer the more you're depleted. And here's the kick to that. The more you're depleted, the more easily it is for people to yank you out of that charging station, because we're looking for instant gratification, feel good quick feel goods and things that can help others, because we feel good helping others, but we don't really feel good helping others if we don't have the energy to do it. So
Candy said, nourishing my soul means music, nature, comfort, foods, comedy. Depending what I'm going through depends on what I'm going to do at that time. That's good. Know your charging stations. That's exactly true. Joyce adds, for sure, news is totally stressful and depressing. I only watch weather anymore.
There you go.
And if you're in Nashville, you got to be careful with that, because that can be kind of depressing. I'm just kidding. Elizabeth says, nature and my snuggling my fur babies, always with music flowing through the background. Yes. And Tim likes bluegrass gospel, helps me fill my soul as well. I am with you on that.
You
Uh,
know.
Johnny V, send in love. We love you, JV.
Hey, Johnny.
And yeah, bluegrass gospel. Everybody's got their little thing that helps them.
Mm-hmm.
And Candy says she only watches the weather now.
Right. And it's, and it can become as quickly as we can become. I know we talked about this earlier today, just briefly, but as quickly as if we're not if we don't know our charging stations and we don't have the confidence, and I'm not talking about, pageant confidence or I'm running a boardroom confidence. I'm talking about the confidence within ourselves to know that if we say, no, thank you, that it's still okay to do that. If we don't have the confidence to do that, then we can very easily become addicted to feeling like we're just never going to get ahead, which can feel like, it results in being unhappy, and we pick those things up. We pick up our wiring, so to speak, when we look at our nature versus nurture, when we look at our modeling, and when we don't see our parents taking time and finding charging stations, it's not likely as an adult we're going to take a charging station. So we have to become familiar. It's like learning a different language, learning the language of loving yourself and being kind to yourself. Because when we love ourselves and we're kind to ourselves, we are 10 times that when it comes to showing up in our full self for other people.
Oh, that's so good. So good, Terry. Rhonda says that she blasts music and sings at the top of her lungs, or an intense workout on the Alter G treadmill, or an intense PT session.
Mm-hmm.
I dance. I like something physical. So nourish in food and entertainment. 2, nature. 3, uh, we get into physicality, doing something with our physical being to make our bodies feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Once you've nourished yourself by intaking something, you want to have something that exercise is different for everybody. Some people, it literally is putting something green in the ground and watching it grow, or mowing, or taking a walk barefoot in the squishy mud. Just some kind of physicality that helps you feel good. I'm a dancer. I love to dance, and I will put on some crazy YouTube stuff and I will just dance. And I found something new, and I did it on my last show on Main Street today. It was a guy, a song called Southern Soul Cowboy, because it's Black History Month, and I was looking at Black cowboys and some of the music that comes out of that, and it was such a fun little song, Southern Soul Cowboy. It was I'll be singing it, boot scooting and all that stuff. And so I know I'm gonna be dancing today
There you go.
because I need it. And Elizabeth says, dancing our own dance. If I dance someone else's dance, it's extremely unsettling to me. Oh, ooh, y'all, that is
Mm-hmm.
a write it down. If I dance someone else's dance, it's extremely unsettling to me.
Absolutely.
Who we spend our time with. Joy says, my big 70-pound boxer is all I need for a stress reliever.
There you go. Yeah, we can find comfort in a lot of different ways, and we can also find um, hidden stressors that we're not even looking for that will present themselves, and we can make a mountain out of that tiny little molehill. Staying charged, though, is going to keep us from that. And we can, at any point, obviously, again, if you're in the middle of your workday or a meeting or something, you might not be able to put music on or get up and dance, but you can let yourself go to just a place of even contentment when you practice mindful breathing,
Yep.
because we don't have to get lost in those moments that just feel heavy, because they're temporary.
And joy looks different for everybody. And, sometimes joy for me, not sometimes, all the time, joy for me, not leaving my house and going and sitting in my goat hut brings me so much joy. I can sit and watch the chickens in the chicken yard. They are the most entertaining thing in the world. And that's where that's my nature is to go and I sit and I just kind of watch their little contentment, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Watching a pig eat a papaya is something that really makes you laugh because there is so much joy. He's got this little tail that just gets to going and he squeals when it's something that he really likes.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves mango and papaya more than anything in the world. And so Barney the hero pig go into town on a big old papaya, and it's just like so. I don't know. I go that feeling that emulates. If we can capture that in our life, now I don't know what it is for you. For me, it's not mango and papaya, and but there's something that just overtakes you, and you go, "This feels inordinately good." Good for me.
Sunrises.
Oh, yes. Sunrise.
Sunrises. When I was headed to Indianapolis this last week, I left before the sun yawned the first time, and along my journey, it peeked its head out. And I thought to myself as I saw that the colors changing in the skyline, and then I just saw the top of the sun coming up over the trees in the distance. In my mind, I actually said it out loud. I said, "Well, hello, gorgeous. There you are." And I stopped the side of the road. I drove about another, I don't know, 3 or 4 miles. I stopped on the side of the road and put my hazards on. And I just got out and I just stood there and looked at it for a few minutes.
Oh,
And I
wow.
just had a moment of, well, that's safer than driving down the interstate at 80 miles an hour trying to go, oh, look how pretty that sunrise is. I wanted to be, obviously present with it. And I stopped and I just looked at it and I was like, wow, this is just amazing. And every one of them are different, and I just had a moment, me and the sun, and I got back in the car and that filled me up. Like I physically felt happy. Like it was like, that's just so beautiful. It's just a whole
Yeah.
different level of feel good.
Yes. And that is what I call notice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I was going through our list. We have nourish, nature, move, notice. Noticing the things around us that bring us joy, just noticing. And it's something so simple. Candy goes to the lake and watches the water. It calms me. Watching my boxer being happy, bouncing around with her wiggle butt is what makes me joyful. Yeah.
Speaking of our fur babies, I want to do a quick just feel good energy to Rhonda's baby Ice, because he just had a dental procedure done.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that he is her world and she is his. So, and I hope he's feeling better. If she's still listening, maybe she'll give us a real quick little thumbs up that he's doing okay. But
Definitely loving our fur base. Joy can be ever so quiet. Doesn't have to be loud in your face. Oh yeah. I call it
absolutely.
contentment is the other that thing. It's very quiet. Contentment can be very quiet.
And contentment gets a bad rap because a lot of times people be like, well, I'm just content. And they say it just like that, well, I mean, life's okay. I'm just content. And they use that as though they're one of those metal foot contraptions in the shoe store when you're trying shoes on. And it's just like, I just fit in this space and I'm just here. And it's like, it doesn't have to be that way. Like contentment and contemplation bring, they just expand. They expand us if we allow ourselves to be expanded, So, and that's a beautiful thing.
He's getting better. He's getting
good.
Better. Ice is getting better. I love contentment. Contentment to me is peaceful. Yes, that's what we go for. Having my cup, my sunshine morning cup of coffee, going outside, rain, sleet, snow, whatever. I go outside with that cup of coffee and I see that sunrise and I say hello to the goats and the horses and the chickens and I see if the pig is awake. He sleeps in most days. He covers up, especially on cold days. But I remember walking out one day and I thought, this is contentment. It has nothing to do with a bank account or whatever. It is literally, contentment is very moment centric. If you live in that moment and you can be thankful and grateful and could just like it's like a breeze blows across your face and it feels good looking at that sunrise, Teri. And Steve Burney say, thanks, ladies. And Teresa says, I love to love on and smell my horses.
There
That
you
is
go.
brings me inner peace because no one else is there. Thanks, ladies, for making my cloudy day so bright. Steve, you are so precious. You make everybody's day bright, Steve. Teresa, I'm totally with you. At night, my contentment time is literally grabbing those velvet noses and just, I just, I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Well, this is just a feel good kind of session today or launch date today, right?
No, it is. I thought to myself, I go, we need to choose our joy, and our joy doesn't have to be what everybody else thinks. If you want to stay home for the holidays, if you don't want to get out and be around and do all that, if you just want to be home and go, Jesus, I'm so glad you were born. If you just want to be home and literally have Chinese food at your house, or like
And
me,
if you don't want to celebrate the holidays at all, that's okay too.
yeah,
You know,
but find the joy in the little parts of your life. And if you're not in that place where you can find joy, I do want to encourage you to reach out. And Teri will tell you how to get in touch with her.
TeriPugh.com is the easiest way. That has email, it has all my social media places, and it has a cell phone number.
And wherever you are in the world, she does Zoom meetings and or online meetings with people. And it's been very, very um, just I tell you, you've been so helpful to me, and I just want to. One of the reasons I want to do this show is so I could share you with everybody. Candy said you're
Oh,
talking about me having Chinese food at home for Christmas. Yes, I
there
know,
you go.
right? Candy is my other sister. She just like one of those people. I just go, yep, that's what I did. That's what I do.
Hmm.
You guys, you can reach me at any time. Or if there's a subject matter that you'd like to discuss on launch date, devonode@gmail.com. Love getting to talk with you guys. And you guys are part of this show every single day. Um,
Absolutely.
let's see. Tim says, our joy, peace, contentment is the little things and our very own thing. Love you, ladies. We love you too.
Hmm. Love you
Um,
too.
Kathy Lee Gifford always says joy is non negotiable. Well, there's some days for me I've negotiated myself out of it. I
Well, and the thing about it is there is, I know that there are some people, I have family members right now that are going through some diagnosis and some heaviness, and it can feel very, very, very challenging to find that joy sometimes. So if we break it down and we zoom in from that drone into like as close as we can go and we get under the microscope with it, maybe if you're dealing with a diagnosis that feels heavy, or a relationship that's not working, or personal struggles with yourself, or whatever it is, if you listen to this launch date and you take something away, then you've gifted yourself a little bit of contentment, a little bit of joy. If you're sitting on the couch and your children come in and you sit with them in the middle of this incredibly stressful season in your life, and you just hug on them, or your fur babies, and or you see a funny thing online, or just allow yourself to create a little garden patch for that joy to land. It doesn't mean that you're just gonna have to be expected to be like, oh my God, I saw this funny thing, and so today is just a great day. That's not our reality sometimes when we're in heavy seasons. But you can open your door or your window and look outside and watch a bird in a little mud puddle or in a little water puddle, flicking around and flittering around. And you don't have to jump up and down and say, that's the best thing ever. But you can go, that's sweet. And allow yourself that little pocket.
and you didn't even see Candy had just put up when you're down, it's harder to find joy. Down and out, it's harder to find joy. But even then, I see a bird at the feeder and I feel lifted and smile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Elizabeth says, I'm grateful you shared Teri with us. Well,
Oh, Elizabeth.
we're grateful for the time we have and that you guys are part of our group here. And a lot of people are watching. And whether we are on one of our many YouTube channels or one of our many Facebook channels, you guys are great. And you guys are as much a part of this as anything else. Because if we were just sitting here just talking with each other, we don't even need Facebook for that. We just call on the phone and use FaceTime.
Right. 3 hours worth of it would be good.
We'd be good. We'd be good. You guys have a great rest of your day. And we're going to
Yes.
keep our broadcast with Teri.
And again, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you watch us on the replay, #replay at the bottom. If you got something you want to unpack or you want a topic in the future, let us know. We'll unpack that as well. And in between then and the next time we see you, increase the peace and create yourself a beautiful day. See ya.